Hello everyone, this is Brucie-Magik returning with a video that I've been wanting to record since this came out. This is the new Caledonia Works SECR C Class locomotive add-on by Chris Wilson, and today we'll be taking it for a quick drive along the Southampton to Weymouth route, so apologies in advance if we get any significant frame drop along the route. For some reason the 3D track seems to kill this route, even on a semi-decent computer. So eventually I think I'll swap out the track on my version. But anyway, right, a bit of quick history before we get on to the model itself. The C Class was a design drawn up and initiated by Harry Harry Wainwright for the South Eastern Chatham Railway. These were built between 1900 and 1908, I believe. A total of about 40 odd of these were built, and they were born out of a locomotive challenge, if you like. There was a challenge between a Kirtley engine and I've forgotten the other design, but William Kirtley designed for the London, Dover and Chatham Railway the Class B2 060 locomotive, which if you look up on the internet you can kind of see some similarities between the C Class and the B2, which was the C Class's predecessor. 40 of these were built, lasted all the way from the SECR all the way into BR days, ended up with a BR classification of 2F. These locos were very useful. Obviously 060 they could go virtually anywhere. Had a total tractive effort of about 19,500 pounds-foot of torque, 85 point something kilonewtons for those of you who are dirty metric. Max boiler pressure was 160 psi, and that's basically it. I could probably go in a lot more detail, but I really could not be bothered. Yeah, the basic history of the loco for those who don't really know what it is. So, to bring you up to speed on the actual add-on itself, I'm just going to press pause break so you can hear me a bit better. Basically, there are 13, that is 13 different liveries included in the pack for the C classes, ranging from SECR livery as displayed here on screen, all the way through to the BR period until withdrawal. Liveries also include ROD grey variants for World War One, and we also have a fictitious, as you can see on the right of your screen, a fictitious Southern Railway olive livery, which looks very attractive. It looks very attractive on that loco, I have to admit. So, the reason I've put 2 down instead of the whole 13 is, one, because I didn't want to kill basically the performance of the computer. Also the fact that for illustrative purposes it's okay putting all 13 down, but it's a lot of effort just for you to gaze at them when you can, if you buy the pack anyway, you're going to end up seeing them all and play about with them. So I thought I'd just give you a little taster of what is included. So we'll quickly have a quick overlook on the Southern livery one. As you can see, as usual, Chris has done a very good job. High modelling standards as always. Very accurate design to original drawings. And there are several details that I would like to point out. So inside you can see the motion. This all moves when we're on the move. This will be demonstrated later. On the front we've got vac pipe, again modelled very well. All the lamp irons. Fantastic rivet detail, which if I zoom right in, the rivets are fairly well rounded actually, considering their size, and they certainly do pay off. On all variants there seems to be the polish buffers with a bit of grease in the middle to stop the rubbing and chafing of the buffers, or the surface of the buffers, which is really cool. Yeah, it's nice to see that actually. It just adds something. Handrails again on point as always with Chris. Handrails are very finely detailed. And then on the tender around the top we've got the little tools, whatever you want to call them, like the rakes, to bring the coal forward in the tender as and when required. We've got the standard Caledonia Works coal texture, which I think looks very good on his models. And it's probably one of the better tender coal textures compared to the contemporaries of this era. Looking at the back of the tender, some variants will have the safety chains on both fore and aft on the loco. Not all of them do, like the southern one here didn't have the safety chains on the front of the loco, but they do on the southeast and Chatham variant, so it's all done prototypically. Safety chains on the back here. We've also got the tender coupling, which is always spot on. We've got the gauge guides as well, which are, I think they do stick out a little bit that way actually on the actual C Class. Again, lovely underframe detail on the tenders, with the brake rodding all the way across. The leaf springs nicely detailed, and the axle boxes with a nice little touch on them. They've got SECR written on them, which will the SECR livery, I think, highlights a lot of the finer details a lot more. So I will show you the effect of that on these little details. Decals as usual. Excuse me. Decals as usual. Pretty spot on. A little bit of tearing as you zoom in on the southern, but zoomed out is perfect anyway. That's absolutely fine. Then we've got a builder's plate again. Some raised relief on it. It's not the highest raised relief on this particular example of a builder's plate, but it has the desired effect. What Chris has done is he's done a raised edge, he's done a raised numbering, and then he's kindly used photo textures for the southern and railway, as you can see here. But if you look side on there, back there, yeah, sorry, about there, you can see it actually has the desired effect, and that is absolutely fine. Textures overall, very good to Chris's usual standard. I like the olive green actually, because it has a little bit of dirt mixed in with it, the kind of, just has that layer of patina. I kind of like that. We've then obviously got the safety valve, again greatly detailed as per usual. Some steam pipes sticking out there. I've got no idea what the bloody hell it's for on this. Do you know what? I don't know what that's for. Someone will be able to tell me. I'll ask one of the Caledonia Works team later. We've got a Westinghouse on the side, I believe. Yeah, there's Westinghouses on the sides of these as well. I think it's Westinghouse or some similar device. Quite nicely modelled again, as per usual for Chris. Spot on, as always. All the pipe work there. All the details that you would expect on a C Class are pretty standard. So moving over to the glory piece, which I think highlights the details of the loco a lot more. We've got the S, E and CR, so the South Eastern Chatham Railway livery, Class C, which is very nicely done. Chris spent a lot of painstaking hours getting this right, including polite cursing, and a lot of frustration, because I did speak to him about this, and it did take him an awful lot of effort to do the lining on this. And I really do hope that people really do appreciate the amount of work that's gone into this add-on by Chris. He spent many hours getting this lining absolutely spot on. So it's taken a bit of time, but the results are simply fascinating. Right, we'll start from the front of the loco and work the way around. So on this particular variant, we've got the safety chains at the front of the loco. That was standard for locos of this period. I don't think it was much longer after that in reality that safety chains weren't really a thing. Obviously, smoke box start door, handrails, all in good order. The decals, again, I have to say these are the details I like picking up on these days. Again, very sharp, very, very sharp. The lining, if I focus on lining rather than the number, lining very sharp as well around this area, so the lettering's spot on. I'll just zoom right in and look how fine that lining truly is on the boiler bands. look at that. That is extremely sharp, and it really does stand out. It's also lining below the smoke box along this part here. Again, very sharp standard, and on the splashes as well. The wheels are nicely lined. A lot of people will probably miss this if they don't know what they're looking for in a C Class. But the wheels are lined all the way around next to the tyre. Obviously, the inner bit where the not axle rod, it's just an axle. Where the axle meets the wheel is lined as well. And we've also got lining down the spokes, all of which is extremely good and to high quality. The details underneath of the brake rigging and suspension is also pretty damn good. Kind of wish I was in free roam rather than a scenario, because I can't go under the ground to look underneath for you, but never mind. The builder's plate on this version is also very good as well. Southeastern Chatham, raised relief. Similar sort of situation with the Southeastern and Chatham in the fact that it's more of a photo texture than it is a actual raised 3D texture. But I prefer that. As you can see where the brass lettering is, true to the original, there's a little bit of the kind of that greenish copper reaction around some of the lettering, which will have been there on the originals in actuality. Moving on to the tender and the cab area, there's a lot of lining here. Again, all very sharp. Chris did a very intricate job of this, and it has really paid off. Everything on this version is lined, and I love it. I truly do love it. So on the axle box covers, as you can see here, they're all lined here, but you can see a lot more now. The SE and CR on that little kind of plates that goes across to bolt it in. And I like that touch. It's very, very nice. Just small things that make a big difference. And I assume this is supposed to be 575 because it's a very weird font. But again, you can see how the raised relief has been done and the photo texture, but it works. So we're going to just unpause that. We're going to go into view 1. So we'll give you a quick tour around the cab and the functionality whilst we're standing still, and then what we'll do is we'll go for a test run from, I've forgotten where the hell we are, Brockenhurst to Ringwood, which is probably about 10-12 miles. So only a short journey, but well worth it. Right, so in the cab, the textures are pretty prototypical as we would expect. Just a bit of a smattering of dirt on the roof and the sides as well, just to reflect how things are working. Obviously we get a lovely firebox glow on Chris's models as always, and I really like that. And not forgetting, there is the bibble next to the bucket on the side. Touch of Chris's nod to his belief, and I like that touch on all his models. Actually, I'll tell you what, it lightens up the cab a bit, so I'm just going to open that up a bit. Right, I already did record a review of the C Class, but it didn't get published because people had gone to bed in the house. I tried being very quiet, and due to the sound settings, the loco was louder than me. So that got abandoned. But what I did learn was several things about the functionality of the loco. If you're doing hand controls, trying to grab the whistle is a very finite thing, because it's a very thin. You have to just get it right. Basically, everything you'd expect a loco of Caledonia Works standard to be has all these following functions. Obviously, your throttle, your regulator as usual. You've got your sanders, and up here you've got your injectors, injector exhaust, injector live for the driver, because this is a right-hand drive loco. We've got the blower here just in front of us. We have also got a brake knocking about somewhere. We did have a brake knocking about somewhere. I don't know where the bloody hell it's gone. Ah, there we go. That's the brakes. Which have been set up as, I think, dynamics of the way train sim works. Which is not a problem, that's just a limitation of the sim. We've got cylinder cocks here at the front. We've got the dampers. In fact, I'll put the dampers on now. There we go. bad shout. This is your reverser. So we've got... Oh, actually, hang on. Let me just open that cab up for you. Actually, if you just see here, if I just... I like that. That's cool. So as you pull the reverser back, there's a little gauge there just to the left of it that shows you if it's forward or reverse. That's pretty impressive, I'm not going to lie. And what's this little doozer down here? I think, yeah, driver increase of the injector water rate. I thought it might be. Handbrake. And then we go through the multitude of views. So this is your in-cab driver's angle, where you can still grab all the controls that you require. And you look through the porthole here. Again, modelled quite well with some smuts attached to it, which I absolutely love. I love that. And cycling through on the right keyboard arrow, we've got a heads out view, but with all the cab sounds, which is quite nice. Hit it again, it brings you to the centre of the cab, and again brings you to firebox view level. And then if you hit right again, it brings you out on the left hand side view. This is a fireman's side. Once again brings you into the fireman's perspective through the porthole. And if you press again, this brings you to the top of the cab as per standard of Caledonia Works locos. I quite like this view, it's quite cool. That is a smoke box view at the front. That is a heads on look at it, which that's a very bizarre angle. Never mind. And then we've got the standard Caledonia Works looking down the side of the loco view as well. So there's numerous amount of views that can be used with this. In fact, I'm just going to cycle through to... Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to do Shift 2 for now, actually. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take the loco for a little bit of a drive. Whilst we're standing still, I'm just checking my levels on everything to make sure the fuel's okay. Lamps. The lamps. I forgot to show you the lamps. All the respective versions come with lamps and discs. I did not mean to press that button, idiot. So how you get these up is relatively simple. As per many other DLCs and add-ons, if you press Control 1 through 4, you'll notice that the lamps appear. So lamp 1, which is the top lamp near the chimney, lamp 2, lamp 3, lamp 4. There is a fifth one, is there? No. Okay, so we've got 4 lamps there. So how Chris has set it up this time is slightly different from how people may be used to lamps coming up. It's a little bit different, I think, from some of his locos. So on this one, if you say, we'll take the top lamp as an example. So we've already pressed it once for a forward lamp. Look at the lamp near the chimney. Press it again, you get a tail lamp. Press it again, you get a white disc. Press it again, you get the hot cross bun disc. Hit it again, and the lamps are off completely. So if you wanted, you can basically do head codes. I have no idea what head codes are what, because Southeastern and Chatham and I'm a BR simpleton. So we'll just go for a couple of hot cross bun discs because they look kind of attractive. So yeah, all your lamps, and I don't know what the hell that is on my keyboard. Everything that you need for lamps and discs is already there and sorted. And that's one thing I wanted to point out. Look at the brass texture on that dome as well in the sunlight. It just looks sublime. It looks like the real thing. I like that a lot. I really like that. In fact, actually, oops, a daisy. I didn't mean to hit that. Sorry, I've been on weird shifts as of the last couple of weeks at work. So, as you can imagine, my brain is a bit frazzled. I'm going to just do a thing. There we go. Right then, let's bring up the F4. Now, give you a quick demonstration before we set off. Obviously, I'll play through the whistles again when we're on the move, so you have a bit of relative sound check. But we've got 2 looped whistles. So you got a crow and one without the crow. They're both on the space bar. The looping is good. You can hear kind of the end of the loop and the start of the loop. I think that will probably be out of Chris's control. Actually, that's not down to him. I think that's just, I don't know. But again, just I don't know what's gone on as of late with looped whistles, but and then we've got the B button, so that's one variant. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 or 8, 8 at least. Yeah, about 7 or 8 different variants on the B button. That's a good selection, very good selection. So there's no shortage of whistles, that's for certain. Right, we need to get to Brockenhurst Down Yard 1, so after 1, 2 sets of points stop. In fact, I don't even need to go that far. I'll just use the HUD to control for the moment. Just whack some coal in. And as you'll probably notice, the smoke techniques, as usual, are spot on to Chris's usual high standard. It's very loud, actually. I did turn train sim up a little bit so you guys could hear it a bit more. Should I have been too loud, you're probably going to have the opposite. You won't be able to hear me now, which would be quite annoying. What I have learnt is the brakes on this are very delicate in the sense of they can be a little bit gutless. I don't necessarily mean that in a bad way. I know the choice of words wasn't great there, but what I mean is, light engine, I always expect a lack of brake power light engine. Is it shift tab or control tab? Control tab? Yeah, approved. There we go. That's what I wanted. Oh, well, they put the symbol on. I would have killed the engine in real life. The brakes are interesting, and you'll get to see it when we take the bird cages out, which are available for Matrix trains, by the way. The braking could potentially do with a bit more of a tweak. Just put the brakes in hard there, because I really do not like backing down too fast on these things. As it was in the first review, I nearly crashed straight into them. There we go, just leave it at 1.8 and we'll cruise back. Right, 59% coal, let's top up the water, just wang it in. This is a very thirsty engine when you get up to speed. Obviously it was more designed to be a kind of a goods engine, a plodder, 25-30 mile an hour sort of thing. Occasionally it was used for passenger use, so I thought for ease's sake I'd use a bird cage set. Going. I probably could have backed down a little bit quicker, but I didn't want to over-trust myself. That's what I like about bird cages, they stop you dead. We'll just shove the brake all in, a couple up anyway. There normally will be a back test anyway as per normal procedures on railways. And where's that? Okay, that's broken. I don't know what happened there. Okay. Why have I... Why is that... What? Something's gone wrong here. I think Train Sim's been a derp. I can't seem to... Ah, there we go. Right then. Hopefully. I wish I hadn't made this as a bloody scenario now, because it's been a right pain in the bum. Oh, sod it, it don't bloody matter anyway. Okay, fine. So right, we'll just take this for a drive. I'll stick it on that menu because I've got enough coal and water. It's got a very steady beat to it. Gutsy 0610 red. It's a nice bit of motion behind it. Nice deep beats to it as well when it gets going. Not the fastest in accelerating. I could get it to accelerate a lot harder, but I decided not to, just take it easy. There we go, we get a high-speed jumps coming in about, well, we get a set of jumps coming about 25 mile an hour. See, I already topped it. I will admit this loco is extremely thirsty at the moment. That's just the nature of the loco set. Again, it's not something I really looked into. I mean, I had the tender filled up to about the boiler filled up to about 80%. I'm already down to 49. We're only just departed a mile and a half, 2 mile away from Brockenhurst. Accelerating up to 40, so I don't quite know. Well, it doesn't matter anyway. Where the frame rate dropped a little bit. I don't know why. I think it's the route itself. But, I thought a big sound on the display was actually confused. Probably the one. The interesting thing about the C Class model is, for Chris Wilson anyway, it was a good choice aware of what the Wainwright C Class is, either through reservation itself, this the Dubai Railway, or just seeing pictures or watching documentary, people know what the Wainwright SECR C Class is. And if you count a place on any reserve railway route in train sim, out of place at all. That's something to be remembered. It's something that everyone can try. It's a nice, very useful, dispensable piece of equipment. It's a C Class that you could operate on goods and passengers alike on secondary and branch routes. And it's kind of like I liken it to be a southern version of the 2F. In the sense of its equivalent in train sim, so that's quite nice. It's a very pleasant and enjoyable loco to drive. It's, if you do the manual controls, it can be a little challenging, but it's not overly challenging. It's not overly demanding. This is a train. This is a loco that can be played in train sim, and you can just take for a drive. You can seriously enjoy it. It's not overly serious, what's the word I'm looking for, knob twiddler, in the sense of on some advanced locos you've got all these cabin controls and you have to do a multitude of functions before you get the bloody thing to move. And whilst I understand that there is that element of people wanting realism in train sim, the real issue is, for me, is whether or not it's enjoyable to drive. There's no point in buying a loco for train sim if you're not going to be able to enjoy it. And as you can see, I'm on 10 inches vacuum here. The brakes are okay. You have to kind of just set it up just spot on, just so that you get that rate of deceleration that you're after. Can be a bit of an issue. Right, I'm going to get to 30 miles an hour and then I'll let off the brakes and just let it coast. There we go, just let it coast. Because if I put the brakes in too much, I'm now going to have to re-accelerate to get into the platform. I need a slow approach anyway, so. Okay, so we're going to be pulling into Holmesley, do a quick passenger pickup, and then when we leave from there, heading for Ringwood, we will have a quick look at the inside motion, which you can see in this view here. The mouse is on the screen. You can see it moving, but I'll give you a better shot. Okay, so we're doing 25 miles an hour. Let's put in some brakes. We'll do still not quite fast enough. So this is down to 11 inches of vacuum brake. And we are off stopping at Holmesley platform. Just keeping an eye on coal and water levels. We seem to be doing pretty well. It seems to me that the Southampton's Weymouth route, as much as it is nice, needs a few tweaks in a few areas. After all, it was freeware, so I don't surprise me in any capacity. What I'll do is I'll pull up a little bit further towards the signal, and then there we go. That's how it's done. So we'll just have a quick look. The passengers are loading in the back carriage because they didn't do the platform correctly on this route, god damn it. And what we'll do is I'll just, it's hard to get the angle that I need. If I go that side, no, that side is better. So if I just do F3 for now, I know what I'm doing for driving. And you can see the inside mode starting to move. The cylinder cock sounds pretty good. It closes off, but it's not just bam, closed, it's more of you get a little filter down, which is quite nice. So we'll take this down to 82% and 27 reverse up. Yeah, that'll do. It should accelerate quite nicely. And I know it's very dark in there, but on the maps now you can see the area there, you can see all the valve gear going, which is a nice touch. Sometimes hard to get that in train sim. Now there you go, you can see the big ends of the cranks going around there. It's been well modelled, it's been very well modelled. Again, I can't say any more than it's one of Bruce's usual high standard add-ons. Chris has come in leaps and bounds over the last, God knows how long he's been doing racing. Excuse me, he's come over leaps and bounds. The detail with each successive add-on has got better and better, to the point where I always recommend buying this product. It's a very fascinating journey to follow Chris on his trails. Smoke textures are pretty damn cool. There we go, just give you a little bit of a side view there. Oh, I've got a mouse on. There we go, going past the weak that we set fire to. Yeah, the C Class used to go up a good turn of speed behind the bird cage behind it. It's a very smooth running engine, very smooth to drive. The only other thing that I want to point out, I'll point out in conclusion, so it's to do with the content of the pack itself, I'll give an explanation as to why I think it's not been done or included. So we'll pull up bits of Brinkman and I'll give my final conclusions there. So we've got about 4 miles to go. I'll just keep it to top so we can get going. see what I mean about the braking. If I just put it down to 17 inches, say 17.2 inches, put it in running, and you can see coming up on 50 marker quite rapidly. May only just slow down each time. Normally I can just leave on 17.2 and it can gently get me down to 50 dead easy, about 60 miles an hour. There we go, that's what we wanted. Far off Ringwood now. As soon as we're in the platform, I'll get into the camera position. I'll just come on my verdict on this nice little lap. Seems to be slowing down quite a lot actually. We're only on 17 inch, 3 miles ago, so we'll be able to make sure the brakes aren't fully in. Just take it down to 12 inches. There we go, that's really down. On a little bit. Right away on the platform. Scenario finishes at Ringwood anyway. I was going to put some AI traffic down, but obviously, excuse me, I do apologise. Very long week. As you can understand, the frame rate was going to drop too much on this route because the 3D track's causing an issue at the moment for me. There we go. Okay, so we should be absolutely fandabby-dozy. And if I go F4, press 8, and then I'll just let the loco simmer. In fact, that's a nice screenshot if I've ever seen one. There we go. Oh, my mouse is in the way. There we go. Press 8. Oh, I am on 8. Pause break. Right. Conclusion. Loco is well and truly worth the money that's being asked for it. Oh, I've forgotten the exact price. I know. I didn't know the price. I'm sorry, it's gone out of my head. I'll leave a link though below so people can go buy it. For what it is, the loco is extremely good. Built to a high modelling quality. The sounds, as usual, are on par with the rest of Chris's products. which is good. Consistency is always valued, and I think that does make a big difference. Consistency is a big box ticker for me. If you've got a developer that's consistently good on multiple aspects of their modeling, their add-ons are definitely ones to be watching out for and ones to grab and put in your library. The braking is okay. It's probably just me, so I won't worry about the lack of brakes or braking. I think that's more down to my driving style. But you can understand where I'm coming from on that. And lastly, scenarios. There is a scenario or two included, but it's for the Bluebell route. There's almost Stuart Steel. I haven't got the Bluebell route, unfortunately, currently, so I can't play the scenario. I will admit, scenarios are quite difficult to include for locos like these because you've got a very limited palette of routes that you can accurately put these things on for accurate scenarios. But there is always possibility for people to make their own. The other thing I wanted to say was there's no stock with this add-on pack, and it's a shame that it's a bit of negative. I understand why it didn't come with any, and that obviously would have been more of a cost outlay by the developer, more time and research to get the product into fruition. It's also costs as well if, for example, say Caledonia Works commissioned Matrix Trade. Sorry, I apologise sincerely. It would have obviously been a lot more money to pass on to the consumer. Say if Caledonia Works went to Matrix Trade and said, "Hey, could you commission the bird cages for us that are shown here for the C class in specific?" It would have cost more. There would have been more outlay, and then more price for the consumers to pay. And I can understand why there wasn't any stock included with the C class. It's a shame that there wasn't. The only reason being is I think a bit of stock will have complemented this loco really well. Just giving people a bit more of a dabble in pre-grouping southern locomotives and stock. Feedback. The last bit of feedback I've got for Chris Wilson. This goes out to generally all developers of third-party developers of train sim software. If, for example, like this, where you've got the bird cages and you've got a loco that did run together or could run together, it would be nice to see bundles appear more often from developers where there's a bit more of a joint and be like, hey, you buy this loco, here's a discount code or unique discount code and you can get X amount off this, or hey, here's a bundle, it's a set price, you get this in it. It'd be nice to see a few more bundles maybe, just because it means people who are casual players rather than serious ones will be able to get a bit more of a collection going on stock. Overall, very good model. I recommend that people buy it. So yeah, that's all I've got to say. Fantastic little loco, well worth the wait, and I will see you next time.